out what the name of that show was, but the I'd buy that for $1 is the line that keeps being repeated. And even I think even some of the doctors like in charge of ROBOCOP say, like, make a reference to it at some point. Someone says, "Hey, do you want that?" And he's like, "Oh, I'd buy that for $1." And then they have their little laugh. There's another really good scene where these two maniacs are harassing a woman, and then they're clearly like set to rape her.
Oh man!
And then RoboCop comes up upon them, tells them to what he's. It's not the dead or alive line.
Your move, creep.
Yeah. And the guy picks up the girl and is, holding the knife to her throat and threatening her. And as she's being held up, her legs are kicking and are split just enough that RoboCop targets through the skirt, shoots between her legs and hits the guy like square in the groin. Which is another pretty iconic scene from the movie.
Definitely.
The rapist getting shot like right in the dick.
I can't remember what business made this first, but there's a shirt out there somewhere that says, "Do you remember that one time when RoboCop shot that dude in the dick?" And it's so awesome. And I think if my memory serves me correctly, on YouTube there is somebody made a loop of RoboCop just going around, and he's just shoots all these people in the dicks. Like, he only targets the dick. I'm pretty... Yeah. No, you're right. I have seen that a long time ago. It's the... It was some kind of like recreation. Mm-hmm. Like they were trying to like kind of recreate all the scenes of RoboCop, and like different groups were taking their turns with different scenes. And whoever did that scene just had like 30 different rapists come running out, and each one of them gets shot like in the dick. But like it goes on for so long. There's so many people getting shot. Oh man! And then there's one more scene where he goes and there's a hostage situation at City Hall that he diffuses by breaking through the wall, grabbing the guy, and then just tossing him out the window. The guy's a high profile. He's a somebody, right? Who's like kind of snapped, and he's like threatening to execute all of these people.
Yeah, he's threatening to kill the mayor and his staff. I think the guy was like a city councilman. And
he's requesting all this outlandish stuff.
Yeah, and like one of the funny lines is, I want a car that gets like something fast that gets really shitty gas mileage. And there's multiple references throughout the film to this car called the 6000 SUX, the Sucks. Which you see a commercial for later on, and it says like 8 miles per gallon. It's what it gets. He's like, "Yeah, I want a fast car that gets really shitty gas mileage." And they're like, "Hey, how about the 6000 SUX?"
And he's the cops below are well aware that RoboCop's like on his way up there, so they're just playing along with them, like, "Yeah, buddy, like no problem." But
I just like how he stops the hostage situation by just throwing the guy right out the window. And then the little humor, it cuts immediately to the newscast again. And you see them, like, the guy keep getting thrown out the window as they talk about, who is RoboCop and like where did he come from, and it cuts to Bob Morton talking about, hey, there's a new sheriff in town. And then he's like the big guy at OCP now. Dick Jones kind of gets forgotten about. They make fun of Dick Jones. And then there's that confrontation with him in the bathroom where it's clear that I wouldn't be making fun of this guy. This guy is connected to the wrong people.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we see later on, he's celebrating at home with, you know, these two girls. And guess who comes knocking on the door is Clarence Boddicker, there to kill Bob Morton because he was overzealous and he made fun of Dick Jones, and his program took over the program that was supposed to be Dick Jones's program. And that's another really brutal scene. Like when Boddicker shoots Morton in the legs like multiple times.
Oh yeah, because I think Miguel's like, or his character is kind of calling Boddicker's bluff. He's just like, you're not going to do anything to me, and he just fucking paralyzes him.
Oh man, it's brutal because you see he shoots him the one time in the wide shot and he goes down, but then there's like the close up of him laying on the ground and you see him like get shot 3 or 4 more times in both legs, and God, it just looks so brutal. So, you know, Boddicker plays this DVD essentially of Dick Jones saying, "Hey, you know, you messed up. Like, I'm taking you out." And then Kurtwood Smith does that great thing with the grenade, where he grabs the ring or the ring and the grenade, the pin.
And it's did you notice it's kind of like a futuristic grenade? Yeah,
it's like it's got a digital timer on it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he pulls the pin with his teeth, you know, and sets it down on the coffee table and just walks out the door, and Morton's basically paralyzed, so he's trying to drag himself across the room to get it, and it's got the little digital timer, and the poor guy like is flailing to get it, and he knocks it over, and then it beeps because it hits 0 and the whole house explodes.
I would have tried to go like the opposite way, not towards the grenade. I feel like if he had went to maybe like crawled to the other to a bedroom or something, he would have had a better shot at maybe surviving. But I think his plan was to get it and throw it somewhere else.
Throw it out the window, yeah.
But Boddicker like leaves, like he does that with no remorse whatsoever.
No, yeah, he's literally the bag man for Dick Jones, and he takes him out, walks out like super calmly, and I don't even think he says anything in the scene,
except for when he gets in, he sees he's got 2 women. They're doing cocaine or whatever together, and he's just like, "Leave, bitches," or something. Like that.
Yeah. Which is another improv. he walks in. He tells them to leave, and I don't think he says anything else because he doesn't say anything when he puts the silencer on the gun and shoots him in the legs. Doesn't say anything when he puts the disc in. He like pops a piece of gum into his mouth. He's so good in this movie. He's a good villain. So RoboCop has this nightmare, basically. You see the little readout, and his thoughts are going crazy, and on the screen you kind of see like this ghostly image of Boddicker when he shot him. And then he freaks out, he leaves, goes out on patrol, and he comes across Emil, the guy from the beginning that Murphy tried to arrest, that is robbing a gas station. And RoboCop goes down to stop it, sees him, and says, "Dead or alive, you're coming with me." And that's what Murphy had said to Emil early on when he tried to arrest him in the steel mill.
Mm-hmm.
So Emil immediately knows that something's up. Says, "Wait, we killed you." And him saying that, even to go back a scene, even when RoboCop leaves the precinct after having that nightmare, he runs into Lewis. And Lewis already has her suspicions because of we see early on when he's at the target range, he kind of twirls the gun that Murphy, the way kind of Murphy twirls it in relation to that TJ Laser show that they make references to. She sees that and kind of recognizes that as something that Murphy did, so she has her suspicions. And she says, Murphy, it's you. And he says, sorry, I gotta go. Goodbye, basically, and blows her off. But she knows it's Murphy, or she has her suspicions, and then the mill, hearing the dead or alive, you're coming with me, realizes or has his suspicions that, we killed this guy, this is the cop that we killed. So he gets arrested, and then RoboCop goes in to the precinct and uploads this image of a mill because he's looking for the accomplices to this guy. And he's got that cool thing where he has the spike that comes out of his hand,
where you can kind of patch into the system.
Yeah, it looks like a middle finger. The guy's like, oh, you can't be in here, you can't do this, and he kind of turns with him, and then his hand, like the fingers kind of bend down, and then the spike pops up. It looks really cool. And he uploads this image of a mill, and he learns all of his accomplices, and, Clarence Boddicker is one, and he looks at Boddicker's rap sheet, and, there's all like the cop murders, and then Murphy is one of them. So then that kind of triggers his memory some more as to, who he is. And then he goes after Boddicker, and there's this great scene in the drug warehouse where Boddicker and a couple of his guys are there, and they're talking. And this was a lot of improv by Kurtwood Smith. He's talking about, the drug operation. Clarence Boddicker is the guy that you have to go to run the drugs. And this guy's not buying it. So he kind of mouths off to him. And Smith does this great thing where he a lot of this dialogue I read was kind of just shitty, like bad guy dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
But he kind of scrapped it and kind of did his own thing with the improv. But the guy's drinking wine, and he puts the wine down in front of Boddicker. Boddicker like dips his fingers into the wine and then like sniffs them. He's like, oh, I don't want to fuck with you, but I'm the guy that you need to deal with. But then he does the thing where he's like, come on, like the Tigers are playing tonight, and he's like drumming on the table. And then, they don't like it, so everyone pulls guns. And they're sticking in everyone's got guns pointed at someone else. And that's when he says, guns, guns, guns. It's so funny, like all of his improv, excuse me, are just, all those lines are just so fun and so quotable. And it's really funny that he improv'd a lot of those lines. As they're in the middle of this deal, the door starts banging, and it gets kicked open, and it's RoboCop. And then there's another epic shootout scene where he just wastes everyone in the building. There's a really cool, he has like his targeting system, and it kind of, you see it target everyone in the warehouse. And then everyone just starts shooting, he says, come quietly or there will be trouble. And then one of Boddicker's guys is like, fuck you, and then everyone starts shooting at RoboCop. And then that's when RoboCop just, almost like a Wild West show, just spins this way and shoots this guy, and then spins this way and shoots this guy, and this guy falls off of the catwalk. And then he grabs Boddicker, and as he's apprehending him, he reads him his rights, and Boddicker's freaking out and is telling him, hey, I work for Dick Jones. Dick Jones runs OCP, and OCP runs the cops. You're a cop. You can't arrest me. And then
he just keeps throwing him through the fucking glass.
Yeah, he just keeps tossing him through the glass. But then that's when RoboCop knows that Dick Jones is involved with what's going on. with the drug trade to